quickly run through this seminar. We have very short duration to discuss a topic bothering all of us. The session, I would like to keep it to about 25 minutes of the slide presentation, which is running through the basics of business continuity and how it is relevant and to the current predicament that we are facing. We'll begin with a very brief introduction about who we are and what is the current scenario and how we can, and then throw the forum open to people to discuss what can be via media and a way out of this crisis using the principles and learnings from standards for business continuity management. At this point, I would request my co-founder and partner in Grow for Knowledge to just give you a sense of what we do. His name is Mr. Sunil Mohal. Sunil, would you take over, please?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I hope I'm audible. Ajay, am I audible?
Yes, very clearly, loud and clear.
Great. Good morning, everyone. We are facing a huge situation today, and that is probably one of the triggers for this conversation that we are having. Go for Knowledge as an organization is focused on helping organizations, consultants, partners in enhancing skills on a couple of key areas: infrastructure, cybersecurity, etc. Challenges today arising from people working from home, security of data they're handling, keeping businesses running, are now being experienced firsthand by almost all of us. And I would gather that our customers are seeking solutions from us. It is our endeavor to help you all wherever possible in this mission to assisting our customers to achieve their goals. On a personal note, if anyone is there from the ISACA chapter of Chennai, I have taken a couple of sessions personally. I think it was in Mylapore a couple of years ago. From the infrastructure side, how frameworks like ITIL, ISO 20000 assist organizations. Ajay, with a deep background in cybersecurity, he launched ISO 27000 for BSI in the year 2000, and I have a deep background in IT service management. It would be our pleasure to assist you in whatever way we can. So at the end of the presentation, if you have any queries, please feel free to contact us. Ajay, over to you. Thank you so much.
This is a few words about me, which will be available in the slide deck. Two companies you are seeing: Go for Knowledge Digital, which is the Avtara, which is focused on the external world, and 7-Step Consulting, which is in India. Both are located in India because we are there. But that's been much earlier. After I left BSI, as Sunil was saying, I've been working in the space of standards. I don't want to talk too much about myself. What are the purpose of this session? Raise an awareness of potential challenges confronting businesses worldwide. How we do it, we all know. So what I will try and focus on the essence of the issues here. Then provide a glimpse, I would say, of how business continuity management can be utilized to address some of these issues while going over the basics of business continuity. And then applying the knowledge to ourselves and in turn to our customers. These are three parts broadly to the session. As we all understand, business continuity management is essentially protecting your business from disruptions. Did we anticipate a disruption of this scale? Did we expect something like this? No. I can confidently say it's not that we've not had a history of pandemics earlier, but this is a global humanitarian public health crisis. It impacts two critical facets, both life and livelihood. These are the fundamental issues that businesses across the world, we are also small, business people and entrepreneurs in our own right, and helping, small, mid-sized companies in our own capacities to address these two issues. Now, potential challenges which are confronting businesses today, it's a Hobson's choice. Should I protect my employees while damaging their livelihood, or sacrifice the lives of thousands, if not millions, to a fast-spreading virus? The government has chosen the second option. But we are all now bothering all of us in our own ways and capacities about the concerns of what will happen to our livelihoods, our businesses, our customers. Extended lockdown. Today it's 21st of April. Most of us are hoping and praying that it will get over. But business as we knew will not occur immediately happen. There will be severe consequences, economic. That's a reality that we all will have to learn and grapple with. I was discussing with Mr. Karthi that we can, as a group, have sessions specific to this aspect of how should we respond post the crisis gets over. But that's a topic of a different day. But we have to accept that the world, as we know, has changed in a few weeks for all of us across the globe. The two key fundamental challenges: huge impacts on health, society, economic. We can get into a number of details. You Google, there's enough and more information flooding us. But if I were to boil down in the essence of this entire, protect life, protect livelihood. And one of the fundamentals of business continuity management, as we know, is to protect employees' lives first. Human life always takes a precedence in such situation. But as a business, can we just stop at protecting lives and forget about the business itself? Can I request, gentlemen, please not to open your videos? Hello, Mr. Sunil? Can you switch off your video, please? Yeah. Sunilji, can you switch off your video? You're consuming unnecessary bandwidth. Yeah. My humble request is, because we are now, the office has shifted to home. Home is the new office today, and we were not equipped with infrastructure to manage these kinds of challenges. So my humble request to everyone is, try and utilize this time and not consume too much of a scarce resource, bandwidth. As I was saying, both lives and livelihoods across the globe are going to be impacted. The world has changed, will change further, which poses a whole set of issues and questions that need to be answered and tackled in a structured, proactive, and systematic manner. I keep repeating again and again at various forums, and all of us know that there are no easy answers for the impact of this uncertainty. But as a business leader, what are the choices? It is, as I say, a war on a daily basis that we fought across levels, across organizations, institutions, government. Sorry. In a scenario like this, do we focus only on the negative? As we all know that any business scenario, we have a downside and an opportunity area also. So while we are trying to grapple through the situation that is confronting us, we must look at the positives
I think Ajay's audio has, the internet has collapsed out there. Shall just please wait for a few minutes? I'll just try to patch him on. Thank you. Okay, he's back. Ajay, we can't hear you. Please switch on your audio. Ajay, can you hear me?
Mr. Sriram, can I request you to please switch off your video? Why do you have a video on? So we were here, and I was wanting if Mr. Karthik can unmute a few people. Any questions so far? Any issue? Or can I go back to what my presentation? Please, I'll go back and then we can, take individual questions one by one. Thank you. Yeah. We all understand business continuity is about managing people, processes, resources, and technology. We call PPRT. Preparation is the key. You fight like you train, as it says. Is it a necessity or a necessity? The answer is in the next slide, which is this one. Any situation that we are facing like this, 40% of the major companies who experience disaster go out of business within 1 year. So the time horizon of this crisis is not the immediate impact. We have to consider all three time horizons: the immediate, the midterm, and the long-term. Strategically speaking, we have to address, as individual entrepreneurs and businesses, these questions for us and for our customers, because our survival is dependent actually on the customers. And where is the problem? The problem isn't planning. Planning requires proactive approaches. Today, most of the ISO standards, unfortunately, and I've been involved with them for over 2 decades, I've seen how their value decline. It has become a mere exercise and check in the box. Fill it, get the certificate. For a very large majority of our clients, and we are forced to comply because we have to actually start working and thinking deeply for our own businesses as well as our own clients, and emphasize that a scenario like this gives us time not only to plan for how to recover the business, how to reimagine the business. That is key, because the world has changed fundamentally. Another report that 75% of the business executives believe that was one of the top IT responsibilities. Now, business continuity management, unfortunately, is not only IT. People always think of this as something to do with, that's more to do with a disaster recovery scenario. But the same report said that 17% of the organizations have formal business continuity management, and this is in the narrow sense of a disaster recovery scenario. And among those who are planning, just 25% integrated into their broader business strategy. Now, this is the challenge that all of us have to address in our own capacities, with our customers, with ourselves. Do we have adequate resources to do that? Do we have adequate time? Most of us, I would suspect, do not have a business continuity management plan in place. What do we do? A scenario like this, no roadmap exists. Pandemics have happened over the years. And every century, there are 2 or 3 major global pandemics. Lessons to be learned. Preparedness, preparedness, preparedness is the key. Any business continuity management life cycle will talk of basically 3 things: how to sustain business operations during the crisis, how to recover and resume business operations, and protect the reputation, the people, the tangible assets of the business. What a standard-based approach helps us is to give a framework and preparation to guide these decisions in a structured manner. That's about it all. Any effective business continuity management exercise, that, as I point here, will have to consider all these levels is the program, people, processes, our facilities, our supply chain, our brand, and our performance levels with respect to what we have on our table. It is, as the slide will give you a sense, a very formal framework-based approach, which will have a program, will have fundamentals of risk and business impact being done, and then defining your strategies how to recover your business. Such an exercise takes a mid-sized company anywhere between 3 to 6 months to run. And then it has to be constantly kept alive. It is not something that you do once and forget. It is not like the Honda campaign, when fill it, shut it, forget it. You have to do it, keep on testing it. It's a live, living document. Unfortunately, that is the theory and not the reality. And unless that becomes a reality, there is no benefit. It is maybe a little better than having no plan or a formal plan to recover. Our challenge is always to build a culture of business continuity elements, which requires deep commitment and resources of the top management. Some of the key elements I've tried to list out. It begins with developing a chartering, establishment of teams, putting together all lists of people, putting in structures, clear communication guidelines, risk and impact analysis. Risk management is little different because it considers both the threat and likelihood, whereas the impact analysis will just focus on the likelihood, the probability of an event happening. Is the risk factor. The impact factor is considered in the impact analysis, or what they call BIA, then putting in recovery strategies, putting in preparations, exercises, documenting, training, all of that. Like any other management system, it has a life of its own. There's a process, there are phases, like this slide, which most of us are familiar with, using the plan, do, check, tag cycle. What does the PCA do? It tells us, have we decided and planned for what you want to do? Have we done it the way we had planned for it? Then actually in the check phase, and improvement actions are following from this entire exercise. Various phases. This is one way to depict the process of creating a business continuity plan. Like any other management system, they will follow 6, 7 broad steps. The benefits, again, what is written on the slide is important, but what I want to emphasize is the benefits will only accrue to any organization if they start believing and practicing in business continuity management as a philosophy, as an approach. It's like insurance. When you don't have it, and how do you get commitment of senior management to a thing which you never want it to happen? So that is the key challenge for us as consultants, to be able to emphasize to people, sir, it is like insurance. Can you live without it? But the risk is very, very high. Planning your responses in times of uncertainty is at the heart of any business continuity management exercise. Ensuring continuity of business operations. Today, these are the fundamental questions that we are all grappling with. It is not only the legislative or the health or the economic factor, but the human response, leadership, and scenario planning is what we need to worry now. We have to be proactive and predictive. We have to do a scenario planning exercise with what is going to happen in the immediate future, based on the best estimates and knowledges that we have in our own context. Understanding the context becomes absolutely vital. And it is not, standards, as we all know, are generic. Applying them requires our best consulting skills and abilities in the context of the business and the organization. As I said, it has happened. 1918 is probably closest, where the guess of number of deaths worldwide was, I have read enough figures varying from 10 million to 50 million to 100 million, but it's scary. And two cities in the US, how they responded to the challenge very differently. One city, St. Louis, chose to be much more proactive. And as you can see in the graph, their curve was much more flatter. Their loss of life was much more lesser than the neighboring city. This is a historical fact. Anyone can go. You can Google it. There's lots of stuff written on this. Lessons that can be learned from this experience. Have we learned enough? Are we following? The answer is no. Governments are still reacting worldwide, in a reactive manner, trying to dismiss, brush the carpet, the issue under the carpet. What do we do now? This is my personal thinking. As I said, the crisis is both involving human beings and lives and livelihoods. So what is required from leadership is integrity, honesty of purpose, a vision, compassion and empathy. And these are not words. They are fundamental values that need to be driven across organizations. Speed and agility, yes. Proactive responses, yes. Disciplined approaches, we can see lack of discipline. The other day, our TV screens were flooded by this stupid incident. But I wouldn't call it stupid. It is, again, lack of vigilance on the part of authorities. Proactive and quality decision making, these are what will make the difference in a scenario like this. And most importantly, who is allowed to make what level of decisions? That clarity comes only when you have a formal structure in a business continuity management exercise. Those of us who are familiar with the domain will understand much better what I am saying. But this is the reality. To my mind, these are absolutely vital, how to respond and tackle this crisis. I will not take too much more time. The leaders, to my mind, need to work and from their heart, embrace the long view, focus on their fundamentals, and both, if you see the left-hand side of the screen and the right-hand side, left-hand side is the operational aspects. This is the future on the right-hand side. But at the heart of this whole exercise has to be compassion, integrity, vision. What can we do? What can our companies that we consult to do? Develop an absolute crisis command center. If they don't have it, they'd have to, the leadership has to quickly get together, put together teams for scenario planning. What are the strategic initiatives? How to conduct their operations, and operational teams will probably take the maximum amount of resources in terms of people. Managing and monitoring to be able to provide an integrated and holistic response to the crisis that we are facing. As I have repeatedly emphasized, preserving human life is absolutely vital. But as a business, preserving a capital is key. And capital does not mean only cash. It means human capital. So these are two facets that I would like to emphasize in this brief talk. Business continuity plans, update if you have business continuity plans. If you don't have, start developing, putting them in place ASAP, because it's never too late to begin. Supply chain solutions. Today, the country, wherever we are facing a crisis, is because of, it's a global connected world. How do we manage without the interdependencies and taking into consequences? And unfortunately, the typical bureaucratic response is to forget the finer points and details. impose a lockdown overnight without even giving a thought as to how people are going to travel, how they are going to sustain their livelihoods. And we are all facing the consequences and seeing it daily on our television. You can control the media to a certain extent, but this is a reality that we all understand. It is equally important for all of us to stay engaged with our customers, be proactive, tell them, reassure them that we are there for you, and have a conversation with them as consultants is our responsibility. And also the local communities, which means everyone around us in our ecosystem. Could be our staff, could be our employees, could be customer employees, could be the associations that we represent or participate in. Point number 6, strengthening digital capabilities. It's absolutely vital. We just faced the situation. We have a fiber optic connection at home, but systems are not really all reliable. So in an office, you will have a backup scenario. At home, you don't plan for such situations and scenarios. But in a situation where home is the new office, and believe you me, this will be a reality for a long time to come. This will be fundamentally altered. And we have to reimagine even our own consulting businesses and rethink the entire ecosystem. As I say, not only recover, but reimagine. Respond, yes. Respond with compassion. And then, last point of engaging with the entire ecosystem of suppliers, vendors, investors, employees, various stakeholders, government, regulators, depending on the type and nature of business that we are working in. Some of the actions, in a sense that in a small talk that I could say, I think I have another 2 minutes now. So I'd like to conclude the discussion with one thought. No need to be scared, just get prepared. And the question in my mind is, are you ready to get